The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman. Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men.
We are sorry to interrupt your program, but we have some breaking news.
In a stunning turn of events, 23 superheroes from District 33 have decided to hang their capes and masks to join a group of retired superheroes. Although they will be living a life of a citizen, the superheroes of District 33 will not be gone. They will continue to make our world a better place.
Some of these heroes will participate in the relocation program, where they will live the rest of their retired lives in a different place.
Others will be seen walking among the halls in various District 33 buildings, occasionally sharing their teaching superpowers with students when duty calls.
Still, others may assume a completely new identity. We just got exclusive notice that our senior correspondent, Gina Steinbrecher, has an exclusive interview with these heroes. Gina?
Thank you, ladies. This is Gina Steinbrecher coming to you with the exclusive interview of these celebrated superheroes. I had the opportunity to interview them and learn highly classified information about the powers that kept them at the top of the game all these years. I have received special authorization to share this classified information with the public.
Well, I'd like to relate to Superman. I felt like I could connect to him because he's Clark Kent, right? Yes. And very plainclothesman, stands in the background. However, when he hears that someone is in need, then he turns into the superpowers. So that's how I felt teaching is that you could just come to school, be plain, but yet with all the problems that develop or all the questions that the children have, you have to have that superpower to answer and to be there at their needs.
I like the same one, Superman. Yep. And one of the things he did that I thought was awesome was when he was presented with a problem, Lois Lane, I think, earthquake was killing her or something. So he turned back time by circling and circling the earth and turned back time, and then he went back and she was alive. Now, we can't quite do that as teachers, but sometimes I feel like we need to put forth a really valiant effort to solve some of the really big problems that our kids have.
I chose Underdog, and he is a lovable, humbleable guy, and we had him when I was a kid. But Underdog also changed when somebody was in trouble. Polly Sweetheart, I think her name was Polly Sweet something. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but he would jump into the telephone booth and he would become Underdog, and he would go off and save the world. And it said he always made mistakes, but it always came out okay. So I guess I kind of feel like that kind of a superhero.
I had the same as Patty.
Did you?
Yes, Underdog. But actually, I couldn't think of one, and so one of the teachers at school today said, we're all like Underdog. Really, all teachers are like Underdogs, so thanks for coming up with that.
There we go.
I liked Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman was amazing. She was strong, she was powerful, and she always was wondering what was on the minds of kids. That's how I would look at it. But she was compassionate, but she was strong and had lots of energy.
I think that's the way we feel about Ruth, that she was Wonder Woman, that she was compassionate, but she was amazing with kind of holding all of us together too. She would have things set up for us so that we would stay on task because we tended to be a little scattered sometimes. And she just, with all of what was going on in her life and everything, she just was amazing.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to go in a different direction because being a musician, I've never heard Superman sing or Captain America sing. I don't know their musical abilities, and so my guy is Johann Sebastian Bach, who is not a comic book superhero, but he's a real superhero and a real person. And the thing that makes him a superhero to me is his extraordinary ability to be of service to other people, and that's what he would have in common with some of the other comic book superheroes, is that he is so selfless and always looking out for the needs of other people. And that's my guy, Johann Sebastian.
Mine is Wonder Woman, because she has a lasso of truth and obey. And I'm going to pass this on to next year's art teachers who are going to get the kindergartners. I think they'll need this. I feel she's a visionary, and we're all visionaries, and we think that each tile that we reach is going to possibly change history. And so our vision, our actions, whatever we do is going to affect history after we're not here anymore.
I would say Anna Maria is someone who represented the Hulk to me in her endurance. She was older than me and wiser than me, but she would survive long days with kids, and kids asking lots of questions and taking a toll on our physical bodies and mental capabilities, but she was standing strong at the end of the day.
And I think Pat is a superwoman. I think that she has the distinction of being both an elementary principal and a middle school principal in our district, and I don't think many people have that. And to have walked away from here saying she accomplished those things with only her beautiful jewelry and bracelets is quite a feat.
I'm most like Superman, and that's probably the superhero I know the most about. Kind of mild-mannered, I guess that would describe me. I kind of like to be behind the scenes and just kind of encouraging others to do their best, the kids and the staff too. And for Marcia, I'm thinking the Green Lantern. I know nothing about him except he has a lantern, and all the nights we spent at Indian Knoll on the other side of the wall from each other, staying late and just getting everything done behind the scenes for when the kids came. Must be the Green Lantern.
I like to bring up the quality of being imperturbable for Barbani. She is such a calm person, and I had the pleasure of working with her on her school yearbook for many years. And we went from the age of rubber cement to the computer age. And we would approach the deadline, and nothing ever fazed Barb. Everything was calm, cool, collected, no problems, got things done.
I think one of the qualities that comes to mind as a teacher is that Monday is always coming. You have to always be ready for Monday. So being organized and being a multitasker, that's my guy, Johann Sebastian Bach. I'm going to keep bringing him back here. And you have to always be ready for Monday. But above all of that is a sense of heart that comes. If you aren't interested in the lives of your students, you don't do this for personal gain. You do this because of your love of your students and that you just want to pull things into the future.
I would say for Anna Maria, she had patience, and I would compare that to Superman when he did not know he was Superman, and then learning through, I guess, years of figuring out who he was, that he was Superman. And she was extremely patient with teachers, with colleagues, with students, with her husband, I know, and her grandkids, and continually demonstrated that every day.
The thing I think about with Pat the most is that she was probably the best listener of any person I had ever worked with. When you talked to her, you were the only person in the room.
You know, I just think of our entire staff at Indian Knoll. We're a cohesive group, really more like a family than a work environment. And just the way that everyone encourages each other is really awesome.
Congratulations, dynamic duo. And of course, you too, Batgirl. You've outdone yourselves this time.
Teamwork, Commissioner. That's what does it.
You can't beat it.
When I first came to the district, I taught kindergarten half day and traveled to another school. But the first person that was my co-teacher was Bonnie Gilbertson. She was an amazing, amazing teacher, and she taught me so much about caring about kids, being compassionate, but she could also laugh at them. There were a lot of times that we actually had to laugh because or else we'd be crying. I was very fortunate to have been paired up with her. But also one of the best advice that she gave me was, make sure you move over in that pay scale as soon as you can. Don't dilly-dally around. Get over there as soon as you can and reap the benefits. So whenever she gave me advice as far as our union or just being a teacher, I listened to her because I thought she was an amazing person.
I guess I'll have to add my little piece about Linda McDonald. When I started in the district, I was a bilingual teacher at Turner, and there weren't very many of us at that time. There were only a few. And Linda was teaching gen ed, but she taught the same grade I did. And just watching her and working with her and watching her with the kids, like so many people have said, just let go all this other stuff, the details, the administrative things that we hate and have to do with, and just focus on those kids and multitasking and just a role model of positive attitude and finding the special positive thing to say and just looking on the good side of all that we do.
Can you fly?
In a plane.
Wait, you're not just some guy in a bat costume, are you?
I think the superpower that I used for all my career would be humor and determination. And if I didn't have my humor, I don't think I would be here in this chair today. And the superpower that I would like to have would have been just to be fast. Because, you know, I taught first grade, then I taught third grade, and to go with the little ones and try to meet all their needs, you need to be very fast. Otherwise, they're very impatient. So I think that would be a good one for me.
About 3 or 4 seasons?
They're up for sale if you want them.
Let me see your identification.
You don't need to see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification.
These aren't the droids.
I would have liked to have the Jedi power of thought control. I feel like I've given kids lots of good advice through the years, and sometimes they don't listen to it. Or like meetings I've gone to, and it would be very, very helpful, especially with the kids, if they believed what we said. Like even the other day I needed that power because a little boy would not believe me that a square was a quadrilateral. He said his dad had told him something else. I needed that Jedi power.
I think Ruth would very much like to have the superpower like Wolverine having unbreakable bones. She has had so many accidents, the poor lady, over the years. She's gotten hit by a crazy driver and broken bones here and broken bones there.
I'd like to have the power of a cybernetic power to be able to transform. Half is the technology part of me, and the other half could be the creative part, because the wires are getting crossed.
I wish I had a bladder of steel. I drink a lot of water all day long, and when you have a classroom, which earlier in my career I did, I would be like out in the hall looking, come, somebody save me because I need to go to the restroom. Because you can't drink water all day long and then not have a bladder to help you. I also think one of the superpowers that is necessary is to be a mind reader. I would like to have been able to have that. So when I'm trying to teach someone to read, I'd say, why aren't they getting that? I keep saying it and trying to show them a different way. If I could just figure out what was going on in their minds, then I would be able to help them better.
I think Pat needed about 12 Wonder Woman because as big a building as the middle school became, she really rose to the occasion and became the kind of person who wanted to be right in the middle of things, and I think she would have loved to have had other people and other other superheroes so that she could have accomplished everything she wanted to in a day.
And I would go with Spider-Man's ability to kind of stick on the wall, because I've said so many times I would love to be a fly on the wall to see how things develop after you've conferenced with a parent, or just when a child goes home to tell a parent what happened at school. Just like to be a fly on the wall.
I think what weakens my power, my superhero power, if I had any, would be when I am too goal-oriented and I neglect to see the small child in front of me. I think in District 33 we have some very challenging, needy students. And sometimes they need a hug, they need a pat on the back. In my room, they need to play the bass xylophone, even if I know that they really don't quite have what it takes to do that part. I need to let them do that and have that emotional, wonderful feeling of thinking that they're doing a great job. And when I let my goal or my perfection get in the way, they don't benefit.
And I think what feeds my power is especially the kids, like a colleague of mine in front of me talked about, is that when you come to school every day and you know that you're trying to meet their needs and you see smiles on their face, or like I had mentioned before, my humor, and they're laughing back, that really feeds me to continue, and maybe I'm reaching them in some way. And what would weaken my powers, usually on Mondays, was no copy machine. Or that I couldn't find a red pen at the immediate time a child needed something corrected. So again, those would really be very sad.
Amen. I have to agree with whoever said you get your energy from the kids, because it is true. Once they come in the morning, no matter how tired you are, no matter what's happened at home, you just start the day with that feeling of energy. And then also at lunchtime, my colleagues feed as I'm having my food for lunch, we talk. We have a great lunch group, don't we? And gets me through the second half of the day. So I would say the kids get me going, and my colleagues keep it there.
And the other piece that gets us through the day, I don't have a team here at the middle school, but I have super paraeducators who come in from time to time, different parts of my classes, and it just keeps you going. Having that help for the kids. And when I was at Pioneer, the reading assistants that I had there were just dynamite and just made my day. And you talk about later, one of your questions was sidekicks. Sometimes those people are your sidekicks, and it's just a real blessing.
Today what fed my power, after teaching 28 second graders how to thread a needle and not feeling like I was always really kind. As they walk out the door, they want to give you a hug. Mm-hmm. And that hug is like, what, me? I don't deserve this. And that feeds my power, along with my friends at school. My family, I think, has been very supportive. And an exceptional evaluation always helps.
I think Ana Maria will be an even more excellent wife and grandma and mother. I think she'll pursue time with her family, her grandkids, traveling, and spending time with her husband.
Family is at the forefront of everything that Pat does, whether it's working with families, but now she can focus on her own family and being the wife, mother, and grandmother to those 5 beautiful granddaughters that she has, and be able to spend all her time with them.
I plan to do a lot of traveling and spend a lot of time being a grandma, so Geo Nana will I be.
I would like to be a grandma, but my kids are not cooperating. They don't have girlfriends, so until that time, I'm going to just try to ride my bike a lot. So between July 12th and July 18th, I'm planning to ride 300 miles. So we'll see if I make it.
In my free time, I want to go deep into the sciences. I want to do an environmental assessment on global warming and the future effect on possible beach property retirement places. And I think it's been requested that I do probe editing.
And I'm hoping to sail off into the sunset. My husband thinks he's a sailor, and so I try to go along with him. And so our future is pretty much to have moonlit sails and to have the grandchildren over a lot. And I'm hoping that perhaps I could write some children's books, because that's always something also you don't have time for, but as a teacher, there's always a book that you are looking for, and there's no topic in the library, and so I always have thought with my colleagues that perhaps we should write our own book, and so maybe I'll have that advantage.
My husband and I bike a lot, and we want to go see our grandkids, as Kathy does, and Australia, grandkids, grandkids everywhere, and just have time to sew and read books.
Mm-hmm.
Musicians don't really retire. They keep going to concerts. They keep performing and enjoying performances. I want to keep introducing children to music, and that would include my 3 grandchildren, who at this point I love to sing with. So you'll just find me at lots of concerts. I'll be the one in the black hat with the red geranium.
With the superhero theme, I'm thinking still of Superman, faster than a locomotive, and so many times people have said to me, now that you're going to retire, what are you going to do? And I tell them, teaching is kind of like a speeding locomotive. And when I get to the end, I'll figure it out, but for right now, I'm busy teaching.
Please remember, the supers are not gone. They will continue to walk among us anonymously, making the education world a better place.